Hey!
Hey! Aren't you supposed to be at work?
No, I'm a roaming clone.
Oh, you came back. 1 second, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Ooh, that reminds me, I should check on the one at work.
Hello, this is Sean.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's great. I love going to work for you. It's just like a lifelong dream of mine.
Oh, look, I'm really sorry about that.
No, seriously, it's been pretty slow. And I was just about to do a little maintenance on our aquarium here.
Oh, yeah, we were too. I was going to clean the floor upstairs.
And I bet people would like to know, what you do to take care of it. So maybe it's a Fluval Flora maintenance day.
That sounds like a good idea. Want to help?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sweet. Well, talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye. Let's do this. Let's do it. Hey YouTube, this is pecktec, and I've had a Fluval Flora for a few years at work, and I decided to get another one for the home. Well, they're pretty easy to maintain. It's much like any other aquarium, but there's a few special things about the Fluval Flora I'm going to show you, like how to take care of its particular filter that came with the Flora if you kept it, and also about some other tools and things that I've found. And I've got a little company today to help me out, so let's get started. So what made you come back anyway?
You literally always have potato chips around.
Okay, so while maintaining this at work for many years, not this specific one, but the one I have just like it, what I did was I just made myself a little kit. And if you'd like to do it, Mr. Roaming Clone, why don't you give them a tour of the basic kit for one of these?
All right. Okay, so inside this kit, you'll see some things that you might need, like some fish nets of different types. I've got this was beta, I guess, came in this little cup, and these little cups are real handy to keep around. You might have some air stones if you got that sort of thing. I've got my little hose to do, water changes, and some various chemicals, dechlorinators, and that sort of thing. I wouldn't keep food in here. And another thing that I do with my kit is I always, anytime I come across any little silica packets, those little things that keep the moisture out, I'll just throw them in the bottom of one of these. So if something goes in here just a little bit wet, it won't be too crucial. Another thing I like to keep, the Flora comes with these little great tongs, and that's a great way to keep them. We always have them when you're doing your aquarium maintenance. And I think the first thing we're going to do is probably water change, so I'm going to go and pull that out. Something else I have at work that I really enjoy is a product like this. It's not this specific product. I think this has been made by a couple of different companies, but I love this thing because it's got the classic scraper, so you can scrape the glass, but it's also got this corner piece that fits perfectly into the corner of one of these. So I'm going to take this out of the package, open this up, and let's get some maintenance going on this little tiny aquarium. Okay, so I guess the first thing we need to do is a water change. So I've got my hose, and we've got the bucket, and we're going to get started. All right, so with the water change, we're going to, of course, remove the lid that it comes with. This is a good opportunity to clean this because it does get quite dusty. Also be careful, I've had this off a couple of times, so it's not so bad right now. The condensation will build up all over the inside of this lid, so when you go to pull it off, be sure you have a towel or something ready to take care of the moisture and then set the lid in a safe place. Today I'm using one of these hoses. I don't know if you've seen these before. These are very simple little devices. There's a venturi valve, I think that's the right word, inside of this. And what you do is you put it under the water and you move it vigorously up and down. Doesn't that look fun? Anyway, it makes the water come on up, and then gravity pulls it and it starts what's called a siphon. So we're going to do that now. But some people say there's a trick to it, but there's really no trick. It just takes a little bit of practice. And I always, when I'm filling up in a gallon jug like this, I like to stick my finger inside, and it gives me a little bit of warning just in case I've lost track of what I'm doing while this thing fills up. Now while I'm cleaning this, I'll go around, and if I see some like dead leaves I need to suck up, or
anything really crazy going on the ground, this is the time to do it. You can use the end of this hose to sort of siphon the gravel. With a lot of planted aquariums, I don't really do that this much. I have to keep an eye on my water level. I don't have to do this very often with the planted tanks at all, but every now and then it pays to do it. Mainly I don't want to disturb the roots and that sort of thing, but I have a little bit of debris here and there, and I'm going to try and grab it with a small water change here. Alright, when you start to feel it with your finger, you need to pull it out as soon as you can and break the siphon. And if you're really super good, you'll catch it right at the top. And now you've got something delicious to pour into your plants if you keep plants around the house. Now that I've got it drained down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little scraping of the glass and get that cleaned up. I'm going to use the tools that I had earlier. I'll start with the scraper, and then I'm going to switch to this little corner piece. I'm also going to remove these little plastic pieces that hold the lid on. Alright, get the front. Oh, I usually move this over just in case I knock it down into the water. Oh, heaven forbid. Try not to squish your plants too much if you can. And I'll grab the other side, parts that I can get to. Now that I've gotten the basic parts of the glass done, I'm going to switch tools simply by pulling this apart. This pulls right off that way, and then I'll swap to the other one. So you can see they've got this little thing on the back, so I can just kind of pop that into place. It's also got a little extender too, so if you've got a deeper tank, you can extend this. Alright, now I'm going to get the corners. Oh yeah, see, there was goop in the corner there. I couldn't even see hardly. And the other side. And that's the glass. Alright, and of course these little items, they go right back into the kit. So they're right where I need them next time. Now if you've gotten some water on the glass while you were scraping, you're going to want to clean that off. If you don't, you'll have big water spots. Especially you guys that like to film this stuff. Water spots in your tank are just horrible for filming. I can't tell you how many times I've finally gotten back in front of my computer to make a video, and I'm like, oh man, there were big spots right there in front of my fish. So now we've got this off, and I think the next step is probably to trim some plants. So back to the kit for some scissors and some tongs. Without going over this too much, if you do have some plants and you notice that they've got a few problems like this one right here, what I recommend is trimming off those problem leaves. If you're lucky, they float and you can just kind of cut them and let them come to the surface. Cut off those problem leaves and it'll make it that much easier for the healthy ones to thrive. If you're lucky enough to trim some plants that float, you can take a fish net and pick them up at the end of your trimming. I'm also going to grab some of this duckweed that's gone nuts in here. And we'll get all that out of the way before we start on the filter. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the filter. Alright, this arm comes off pretty easily, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that off and set it in a little specimen container here to kind of help me out. I'll hang that right there. And I'll set this aside so I don't knock it off. Alright, so this comes right out. And I usually just kind of let it drain a little bit. Drain a little bit here. If you keep shrimp love to climb up inside of this thing, so be careful. Also, as you can see, I've put, I don't have the standard filter. This comes with a sponge all the way down, and what I've done is I've added some ceramic material inside. But a lot of this is pretty much the same. This pops right off the top here. And it can actually just sit right there for a second. And inside, we've got the sponge. And I'm going to pull that out here. And I've also got, it's got this little part too. It's kind of like a pre-filter. I'm going to pull it out. And I'm going to dump out the rest of the water that's in here. Just dump it in there. And I'm going to leave the rest of this alone. If you had the whole sponge in there, you can pull it out and do the same thing. For the ceramic stuff, I'm just going to leave it in here. One thing you'll definitely want to do though is give this a once over with a towel or something and just kind of wipe out and make sure that these little ridges are unobstructed so that you'll have a good water flow. Alright, so now I'm going to take this out too. Now I've got just the filter materials, and I need a little bit more water to clean this, so what I'm going to do is, I've got that beta container. I'm going to lose the lid. Grab a little bit of water right out of the aquarium. Kind of pour it in. A little bit more. Pour it in. Now I've got some water to clean with. And just do this. I don't usually put this inside the water, but it's not going to mess anything up. So I'm going to clean it a little bit here. This is inside the tank just for this angle, just because it's a little bit easier to see. Normally I'd be doing this, but just on the other side of the aquarium. Alright, so I got this filter kind of rinsed out. You don't have to go to town. And stick it right back in on top of here, and the little pre-filter comes out of this plastic. It's real handy to get two of those, and so when it comes time to clean it, you can just swap it out and clean the other one later, and it's actually a little bit faster. So if you need to do a real fast change, you can do it that way. Just gotta rinse this out real good. Water's pretty dirty. Let me swap this out here. Don't want to spill that. Talk about some good plant food. That's great. Throw a little aquarium in there and you could have like a mudslide or something. I'm just kidding. Okay, here. So, finish rinsing this out. Yeah, see, it's still pretty dirty. I'll finish rinsing this little pre-filter out. It's real important that this thing especially is clean. If it doesn't let water through, it's going to have a hard time filtering your aquarium out. Make sure you're using water from inside the aquarium or that's been dechlorinated really well when you clean these out, because you don't want chlorine to get in there on your good biological material and mess everything up. So I put that back in its frame. It slides right back into place here, and what I do is I go ahead and fill this up with water, and then I stick the top back on, kind of get it where it needs to be, get everything nice and wet and in place, and then I throw the spray bar back on. Alright. Now the other thing that you do sometimes is you may want to pull out your CO2 cartridge and just kind of rinse it out. Mine's full of duckweed. Yay. But you just go ahead, and if you've got some old stale bubbles in there, just get them out of there. If you need to reattach the... be sure to put it in there sideways so you get the bubbles out. You also might need to reattach the suction cups if they've come loose. I'm not really sold on this the little CO2 thing that comes with it. I might be getting rid of that soon, so just fair warning. Alright, and that's the filter. Now once I've finished messing around inside the aquarium, that's the scraping and all that, if all I've got to do is pour some more water back in, I go ahead and I put these plastic things back on, just a little, even though it's a little bit ahead of time, because I have actually skipped this step before by placing these aside and dropped the glass straight into the aquarium, which was just kind of a pain, made a mess. So I always, at this step, right before the water goes back in the tank, I remember to put these back on so everything's ready to go. Okay, so we've pulled the water out, and now it's time to add the water back in. I've just taken my gallon jug, and I'm adding the appropriate amount of dechlorinator to the water. I usually do that when I fill up the jug, but I'm adding that, and let's go ahead and fill it back up. Alright, so water is going back in. What I do is I pour the water on a log or an aquarium feature that will perhaps not kick up a bunch of gunk. I'm trying real hard to do this so it doesn't make a mess. Alright, so I've got my water in, pick off a few last minute leaves and things that are at the top. And one thing to keep in mind is if your aquarium has evaporated a lot, then pulling out a gallon of water, you might need 1.5 gallons to fill it back up. This thing wasn't too low to begin with, so the level it ended up with is fine. So there you go, some quick and easy tips to help keep your Fluval Flora looking great. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll probably go, want to see a movie? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so we're going to go see a movie, and we hope to see you guys again next week, so stick around. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button and make a comment. I love to read your comments, and I always respond eventually. I have not responded a couple of times, but I usually respond. I do. I really do. All right, see you soon.
For the poor.
Stop. There you go. That's good enough.
Your phone is ringing off the hook.
I know.